Welcome back everybody, a Pink Lemon here with a different kind of video today because I'm going to be teaching you how to modify your Beyblade launchers for maximum spin time and most importantly, powerful battles. So without further ado, let's get on with it. First of all, this is a regular ripcord launcher. These came with Hasbro bays. I'm pretty sure these came with Takara Tomy bays, correct me if I'm wrong. And these are the least powerful type of launcher, modded or unmodded. How you'd mod one of these is you can see inside there's just a gear and the ripcord. Now normally how this is supposed to work is you pull the ripcord, the gear gets going, launches the bay, and then this bit would stop. Now unfortunately I don't own any unmodded regular launchers, nor did I keep any of the parts. But because this is see-through, you can see that I've removed parts in here. There's usually a little gizmo down here that you would unscrew with just a Phillips head screwdriver, and you can get rid of, and that stops this from locking up, and that will keep spinning. And that is more powerful than a unmodded ripcord launcher. Next, we have a Light Launcher 2. Now, these come with the majority of Takara Tomy bays. They are standard to be included with any 4D Takara Tomy bay or Hasbro. I don't really know. I'm not really sure. And these are the next most powerful type of launcher. And this one's not modded, so you can see I will pull the ripcord and that stops. Now, these are more powerful because the ripcord is usually thicker, and I believe the gear inside is also slightly bigger. Now, you can mod these in the exact same way you mod a regular launcher. There's a little gizmo in there that makes it so that this stops moving when the ripcord gets pulled out. But actually, Light Launcher 2s are surprisingly powerful. Some of my best Light Launcher 2s, I don't know why, but I believe the cord is curved a lot, and so you get a lot of tension between the ripcord and the gears, and they are extremely powerful, to the point where, honestly, an unmodded Light Launcher 2 might be more powerful than a modded Light Launcher 2. Now, unfortunately, I don't own any string launchers, any regular string launchers that are non-burst, but I'm pretty sure you can't mod string launchers in the same way you can mod ripcord launchers because they work differently. Now, finally, many viewers have noticed that in my most recent videos, I've been using a burst launcher. And this is exactly what I'm going to teach you how to mod today. But first, you might be wondering why I modded burst launcher. Well, I don't know exactly why, but my best guess is because burst bays are bigger than metal fight bays, and usually a little bit heavier. They have to spin. The launchers have to spin with much more force. And so when you apply as much force that you're putting on a burst bay, on a metal fight bay, obviously they spin for longer. Now, that's just my best guess. I don't actually know why. If you have any actual idea why this launcher is more powerful, make sure you comment below. Now, all you'll need for this modification is a Beyblade Burst string launcher. I don't know how to do it with any other launcher than the ones included in the starter series. This is the one included with the original Excalibur from the first generation of Beyblade Burst. What a throwback. Any Light Launcher 2 for this facepoint, although I'm not sure if it works with these Hasbro style launchers. I haven't tested it. And a screwdriver, because they're all Phillips head screws. You want to take just this plate off. This is the only thing you need to take off. I recommend using a smaller screwdriver because the bigger Phillips head you use, you have a chance to damage your screws and strip them, which means that they will not come out no matter how hard you try. Make sure you don't do that. Once this middle bit's out, this screw, you don't need this screw anymore. You can put that away. You just need to take off this. This is all you need. And if you really wanted to, you could put this screw back in here for safekeeping if you ever want to unmod your launcher, like I have done for this video. Next, you want to unscrew the 4 screws in your burst launcher. Now, I will note about modded launchers, they're great for making videos, they're great for casual play, if you want to just like stomp your friends, or, you know, surprise anybody with like how powerful your bays are, but you cannot be using these in tournaments. These are not for tournament use. You should not be using these for any kind of competition outside of casual play. It is illegal. These are illegal modifications. Do not use these for any competitions of any kind. You can use them for friendlies if the person at the venue agrees to do it with you, but please do not enter in an actual competition thinking you can use one of these launchers. I don't know what penalties will apply because I've never been to a tournament, but penalties will apply. Now that we have all the screws out, you can take the back plate off. Be very careful with it. This is just the back plate. Then you'll be exposing the insides. Now be careful when exposing the insides because you don't want this string to get loose. It's easy to put back in, but my ripcord is a little floppy now. They're usually very tightly wound in there, so just be careful with that. You want to take out this back top plate, very gently remove it. Now once that's out, you actually don't need to touch the gears at all. What you want to do is you want to get, hopefully, your small screwdriver and get into these black tabs here, and you want to just nudge those tabs very gently down into that hole. You want to just very gently push them and nudge them into their holes, and then once it comes loose, once you notice those tabs are in the holes, you should be able to take this front faceplate off. So let's get those in there. Make sure you don't snap these tabs, because you need these tabs to go back in. Now once they're out, don't worry about this piece if it falls out. Once they're out, you should be able to remove this front faceplate. And then you can get with a little, it's only got a little bit of resistance, but I assure you, it's not attached to anything. Just make sure you evenly take it off. You can get this front plate off. And once this front plate off, this is the Beyblade burst attachment point. This attaches to any burst style bay. Then you can take your light launcher, oh shit. While you're modifying this, make sure these gears stay in place. You do not want to lose them. They operate the entire launcher. So once you have that face off, you want to take your light launcher 2-point, and you'll notice that these actually have the same face here, which means you can take your light launcher 2 attachment point, just place it on there. It just snaps in. It snaps in really simply. Put your little thingy back in. Don't worry, this doesn't do anything for Metal Fight bays. It's just good to not lose the piece. If you're still using your bay logger, it's also nice to just have that in there. Once your light launcher 2 attachment point is on, you can just slap the faceplate back on. It'll click in with those tabs. That's why you didn't want to break those tabs. You want to line up this other piece, make sure that presses in. It should just press in. It doesn't snap in. It just kind of fits in there neatly. Put your back plate back on. Bam, bada bing, bada boom. Make sure that's all tight. And then you can just put your screws in. Now, just a thing to note, that these screws might not go perfectly back in. Make sure you don't over-tighten these screws. Make sure you don't tighten them in at a weird angle. Because A, you might want to unmod your launcher if it's the only burst launcher you have. And you want to go back and forth between using Metal Fight bays and burst bays. And also, you don't want to ruin the screw holes. That way, like, just in case you do ever want to take it apart or resell it or etc. You don't want to ruin the launcher. The goal is not to ruin the launcher. Once you've got it in, you've got a light launcher 2 attachment point on a Beyblade burst string launcher, which means you can take a Metal Fight bay, slap it on there, and let it rip just like that. And there you go. You have a string launcher with the power of Beyblade burst, but for Metal Fight bays. Also, interesting thing to note, the Beyblade burst attachment point is actually larger than a Metal Fight attachment point, and that's why you have to get this faceplate off to take it off. But with a light launcher 2 attachment point, it does actually just, it does actually just come off. And so be wary of that after a little bit of use. I know this has happened to me. After a lot of use, this might just pop off, but never fear. If it does just pop off, just plonk it back on. It fits on that simply, and you don't have to worry about this little, the bay logger bit sticking out. I assure you, Metal Fight bay face bolts, there's plenty gap that it does not stop them from being attached. And voila, you have yourself a modded burst launcher. Now, before we move on to spin test, I want to issue a challenge to my viewers, because I've only been able to get this modification to work for right spinning launchers, but I do own a left and right burst launcher from when I owned a Spriggan. But I haven't been able to mod it because I haven't been able to get this middle plate out to get the burst attachment point off, and I don't even know if I would be able to fit a light launcher attachment point onto this attachment point, because if I open it up, first of all, not only is it not the same design as this launcher, but it's not a screw thing attached. It's this strange metal plate in the middle, and you can see, if I don't ruin the launcher, you can see this metal pole is also connected to a gear, and it's very tightly in there, and I don't know how to get this metal pole out without ruining the launcher or breaking the gears or bending something, and I don't even know if it would be worth it to take out. So, if you know how to mod this launcher, if you have any ideas on how to mod this launcher, or you know of anyone who has modded this launcher and has instructions or has made a video on it, please comment them down below, because I would really love to have a left and right super powerful burst launcher for all my videos. That way I don't have to use a right string launcher and a left ripcord launcher, and I can just have left and right in one launcher. It also makes it better for you guys, because it means less time between launches, more powerful battles. So now, I keep saying it, without further ado, let's do these spin tests. We're going to test attack types, defense types, and stamina types, and we're going to test them between all the different kinds of launchers, just to see which is the most powerful, and to see how much spin time you're really getting out of these modifications. For the spin test, I tried to make them as impartial as possible by using stock combos that represent the three main types of bays: a simple 105 and flat for the attack types, Rock Leon with wide ball to represent defense types, and Earth Eagle, despite being called a balance type, to represent stamina types due to its tip and wheel. First up is the modded Hasbro Ripcord Launcher, clocking a not too shabby 1 minute and 11 for attack types, 2 minutes 31 for defense, and 2 minutes 38 for stamina. Not surprising that stamina clocks in with the highest time, although I'd never guessed that attack types spend for over a minute less than everything else. Next up is the Light Launcher 2, and these times are really surprising. Even though it's only by 6 seconds, there's a definite increase in time for attack. Astoundingly, Leon's spin time increases by a whopping 20 seconds using a light launcher, a dramatic increase. But most surprising is the fact that Earth Eagle did worse by about 16 seconds. Perhaps it's because the light launcher is unmodded, but most likely I just had a bad launch. But even then, 16 seconds is a surprising amount for a bad launch. Finally, the burst launcher we modded has the strangest results, and I'll address why I think that is afterwards. First off, the attack time goes down by 3 seconds from the original launch. Eagle's time only continues to worsen, but Leon's launch manages to hit a whopping 3 minutes and 11 seconds, which is another 20-second increase from the last. But if that's the case, why have the others gone down so much? Well, I think it has to do with the nature of how string launchers have a lot of chance related to them. In other words, getting a bad launch. Because of the direction you pull the string, how hard you pull it, how far you pull it, you know. I didn't do many launches, so honestly, if I tried a few times, I could probably get the attack time up. However, I did try multiple launches with Eagle, and I could not get it to increase in time with the string launcher for the life of me. So the consistency of launches is dubious, especially because we're not doing a test with a large sample size. The modded Hasbro launcher, despite performing best with Eagle, still pales in comparison to the Light Launcher 2, which despite not having the best time increase, does seem to be the most consistent. So now with all these tests done, it does seem that perhaps more important than your launcher is your technique. That being said, based on Leon's results, the modded burst launcher is definitely the most powerful. But if you can't get one or make one, an unmodded Light Launcher 2 might do the trick. Until next time, I hope you all get some good use out of your modded launchers. I've been a Pink Lemon, and I hope you have a great day.